A day after thousands of protesters hit the streets in the Indian capital seeking accountability from the government, protests are no longer limited to Jantar Mantar alone. As Sonam Wangchuk's hunger strike entered day 24, huge drama unfolded outside the Prime Minister's residence as well. Let's just break down the developments for you first. Earlier in the day, key Congress leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, D.K. Shivakumar, in fact, they sat on that dharna, as you can see, to seek justice for students, while the government sent the Union Minister Jitendra Singh to convince Rahul Gandhi to end his protest. His attempt was unsuccessful. Although the Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav also joined the protest, he along with the Gandhis were subsequently detained reportedly and removed from the protest site by the Delhi police. In fact, Singh claimed that Gandhi went back on his promise to end the dharna after the government agreed to discuss the NEET issue in the parliament. Instead, the union minister in fact accused Gandhi of putting forth a fresh demand of the education minister's resignation. Earlier, Gandhi appealed to all Indians to join his sit-in and openly called for the resignation of Prime Minister Modi and the Union Home Minister as well. Protests raged throughout the day. Take a look at these visuals. Apart from the Congress dharna, crowds continued to swell at the Cockroach Janta Party's protests in Jantar Mantar. Both the Houses of Parliament earlier in the day had to be adjourned for the day after witnessing disruptions by the opposition MPs who sought to discuss the NEET paper leak issue. And earlier in the day, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi visited Delhi's Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital to meet the protesters as well who were injured after those clashes broke out between them and the security forces reportedly. While CJP accused Delhi police of using brute force against the peaceful protesters marching towards the Indian Parliament, the police say that they were attacked with stones and other objects. According to the Delhi police, protesters deliberately violated prohibitory orders, attempted to breach the barricades, vandalized 15 to 20 government vehicles allegedly, and damaged public property. While over 118 police personnel and 60 protesters sustained injuries, 70 protesters were detained. 5 FIRs have been registered so far in connection with the violence. In fact, the Union Minister J.P. Nadda also visited 2 hospitals to inquire about the condition of the injured protesters and reviewed the medical facilities being provided to them. So let's just also take you through what the principal demands have been all throughout, at the heart of what we've been seeing. What exactly have the CJP's demands been? They are basically seeking justice for the students who ended their lives allegedly because of the NEET UG exam cancellation, because of that large-scale paper leak, allegedly. In a letter submitted to Nadda a day earlier, the CJP also demanded the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan and the release of Sonam Wangchuk from the hospital. Besides this, the protesters also demanded compensation of 1 crore rupees for the kin of the NEET candidates who died by suicide. As of now, the government is yet to clarify its stance, essentially. However, Prime Minister Modi has addressed the issue of paper leaks at a meeting of the MPs belonging to the ruling National Democratic Alliance. As per the Union Minister, Kiren Rijiju, the Prime Minister called for collective national efforts to build a foolproof examination system. Listen to this.
एक राज्य का मामला नहीं है, सिर्फ केंद्र सरकार का मामला नहीं, पूरा देश का हर एक राज्य में जहां-जहां पेपर लीक करने में जो लोग लिप्त हैं जो लोग इस धंधे में इन्वॉल्व है, जिन्होंने काम इस तरह का घिनौना किया है, पाप काम किया है, उनको सजा देने के लिए सब एकजुट होना चाहिए। ये कोई दलगत राजनीति का विषय नहीं है, ये देश का विषय है।
And in another development, Sonam Wangchuk secured major relief from a division bench of the Delhi High Court. Hearing his wife's petition, the court ordered him to be shifted to the Medanta Hospital, his preferred choice reportedly, directing a team of doctors to constantly monitor his health condition. It also allowed the wife unrestricted access to Sonam Wangchuk. While the Solicitor General reportedly argued that Wangchuk should not get discharged against medical advice, the court refused to get into that aspect reportedly. Meanwhile, political leaders continue to extend their support to the CJP protest, a number of them. Arvind Kejriwal, also Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule visited the Jantar Mantar protest site, speaking at a rally in Kolkata. Meanwhile, Mamata Banerjee also threw her weight behind the protesting students. Although Rahul Gandhi met the Lok Sabha Speaker earlier in the day, seeking a discussion on the injuries inflicted on the protesters and the NEET issue, the opposition accused the ruling party of stifling its voice, leading to the parliament being adjourned.
And do communicate to this House the names of 2 members so elected by Rajya Sabha to the joint committee. PM today.
जो अन्याय और अत्याचार और जो एक उनके ऊपर दबाव बनाया जा रहा है, उसके खिलाफ हम पार्लियामेंट में उनके कंसेंट से आवाज़ उठाने के लिए, बात रखने के लिए समय भी पूछा था और हमने उठ के बात करने के लिए तैयार हो गए। लेकिन यूं ही हम उठे, यूं ही एक शब्द बोले, एक ही शब्द, तो माइक ऑफ हो गया, बंद हो गया। ये डेमोक्रेसी है।
But then a number of questions continue to hang in the air as those protests swell on the ground. The questions also continue to mount. What happens here onwards? This is, after all, about the future of the youth of India and what they are saying at this point. What about a debate on the issues concerning the students? Also, some have been talking about and asking why it took so long for even the engagement to start. Calls for more accountability and response are escalating. For millions, the day does not quite begin until the first cup of coffee gets poured. Now, that daily ritual may have a surprising upside. This is good news for coffee lovers. New research suggesting moderate coffee consumption could also be linked to a lower risk of heart disease and stroke. But experts are also warning that more is not always better. Our next report decoding this for you.
That morning cup of coffee may be doing more than keeping you awake. It could be quietly working in your favor. Researchers are increasingly looking at coffee not simply as a source of caffeine, but as a complex drink packed with hundreds of natural compounds. And the latest evidence suggests moderate consumption may be associated with better heart health. According to a new scientific statement from the American Heart Association, drinking up to around 5 cups of coffee a day may potentially be linked to a lower risk of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Experts say that while your ideal caffeine limit depends on your CYP1A2 gene, which affects how quickly you metabolize caffeine, some people tolerate 400 mg daily, which is about 3 to 5 cups of coffee, while others experience side effects with much less. But there is an important catch. This is not a license to drink coffee without limits. The potential benefit appears to depend on moderation and on what goes into the cup. Black coffee or coffee with minimal sugar and cream is very different from a large sugary coffee loaded with syrups, whipped cream, and high-calorie extras. doctors are particularly cautious about energy drinks. Unlike coffee, energy drinks can deliver large doses of caffeine quickly, often combined with significant amounts of sugar and other stimulants. For some people, that combination can increase heart rate and blood pressure and may trigger dangerous heart rhythm problems. So what could make coffee beneficial? Scientists believe the answer may lie beyond caffeine. Coffee contains antioxidants and other plant compounds that may influence inflammation, metabolism, and the health of blood vessels. These effects could potentially help explain why moderate coffee drinkers sometimes show better cardiovascular outcomes. The message is simple. If you enjoy coffee, there may be no need to feel guilty about your daily habit, but do not turn moderation into excess. The humble cup of coffee may have a place in a heart-healthy lifestyle, but it is still no substitute for exercise, good sleep, and a balanced diet. Bureau Report, WION World is one.
What's the link between cotton and weapons? Well, it seems more than you can imagine. While US President Donald Trump has been escalating the West Asia war, America has been grappling to replenish its depleting weapons stockpiles. Europe also has been ramping up ammunition production amid the looming threat of Russia. However, China holds the key to their plans. Let's tell you how. Boosting production of weapons is not possible without using nitrocellulose, which is also known as gun cotton. It's a highly flammable material made from cotton. Through exposure to nitric acid or another powerful nitrating agent. Crucially, gun cotton is a vital input for making propellant powder used in firearms and missiles. Besides this, it's also used in inks, coatings, pharmaceuticals. Where does China then come into the picture, you ask? As per the International Trade Center, China accounts for nearly half of the world's market for nitrocellulose and is a key supplier of this material to Europe as well as the United States. And as per reports, Europe relies on China for nearly 70% of gun cotton's raw material. But then why does the West have to depend on China for gun cotton in the first place? You see, after the Cold War, many Western countries reportedly reduced defense manufacturing capacity as the governments expected lower ammunition needs. Additionally, operations at many nitrocellulose plants were downsized. And this scenario changed after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which basically compelled the NATO countries to dramatically increase ammunition production. And reports suggest they also link the shortage of gun cotton to demand surging faster than the production capacity. According to reports, companies in both Europe and the United States are trying to increase the domestic capacity of nitrocellulose production. And this comes amid growing concerns that China could also disrupt access to gun cotton in case of a future conflict, thereby hampering ammunition production as well. China, remember, also has a leverage over the West because of its dominance of the critical mineral industry. After all, it produces 90% of the world's rare earths. In April last year, Beijing restricted rare earth exports to America to counter Trump's tariff war. While the US president initially threatened to levy 100% more tariffs on China, he announced a trade and economic deal with China in November 2025. According to him, China promised to eliminate the export controls on rare earth elements and other critical minerals and end its retaliation against the US semiconductor manufacturers. After Trump visited Beijing in May this year, the White House asserted that China has agreed to address US concerns regarding supply chain shortages and restrictions on the sale of critical minerals and rare earths. A month later, China reportedly issued rare earth licenses to 3 top American automakers, including General Motors, reportedly. But then the US also wants to reduce its reliance on overseas supply chains for defense production. A day earlier, Trump signed an executive order basically making it harder for US defense contractors to obtain waivers, allowing them to buy critical minerals from China. In fact, companies seeking a waiver will have to prove that they searched for alternatives and provide a plan to reduce reliance on prohibited suppliers. And this comes as many critical minerals used in missiles, aircraft, other advanced systems still rely on Chinese suppliers. The Pentagon has been pushing defense contractors like Lockheed Martin and Boeing reportedly to rapidly expand weapons production and eliminate the vulnerabilities inside the military supply chain. But then, considering that it will take a long time, of course, to cut dependence on Beijing, depleting munition remains a major concern for the US and also its allies. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.